She says, grow with me.
I always end all my videos with the phrase, keep making the music you love. What it means to me is as long as you love it, as long as it's true to you, share that and make that.
Hi, I'm Jamie Hernandez, and this is the Ins and Outs with Mackie, a show about awesome gear and awesome people. We'll be bringing you musicians, engineers, podcasters, streamers, and sometimes the occasional Mackoid. Our guest today is a very talented musician, a producer, and a gear reviewer whose channel is approaching its next 100,000 subscribers. I'm so excited to welcome to the show, Sanjay C. How's it going, Sanjay?
It's going well, and thanks for having me today. I'm so excited to be on the show.
So Sanjay, you're always talking about gear. Tell us about yourself.
I'm Sanjay C. I have a YouTube channel, and I'm a musician and producer. And, I started this YouTube channel. People know me from my YouTube channel. So I started that because I was restarting my music journey. I'd taken like this 10-year break, and then I started up again. I started collecting a few pieces of gear, and I said, why don't I kind of record this journey for other people who might be on the same journey as me. And I said, let me just make a few YouTube videos and see how they do. And so I started doing that, and the response was really, really good. I started just making more and more. And I actually was thinking, hey, this is a great way for people to hear my music. So I'm just going to start pushing my music on them. And then, but it turned out to be something completely different. I ended up enjoying the teaching part of it and the product review part of it so much that kind of became my channel. And now I do that. I make a video a week. I always make music for my videos too, so I do get to share my music. But it's become Sanjay C's YouTube channel, and that's where people know me from.
What was the breaking point when you realized that it was taking off?
I wouldn't say there was a real breaking point. My channel has grown slowly over the first year and a half. I mean, it was just inching along. So I think it was just a very slow pickup for me. People started discovering me. I would make a video that people really responded to, and then I'm like, that one's kind of working. I made this video, I think it was the one where I said how to build a music studio. And I kind of took it from the perspective of home producers, people who don't have a big budget. And I said, here are a few things that you could use to start making music at home. That one really took off. And once I did that, I said, there seems to be a lot of people who are kind of in the same place I am, who want to start making music at home, don't have a lot of knowledge, and maybe I could help them along as I learn. And so I started doing more of those, and I started creating like a video on, well, here are my favorite keyboards, and that one was really popular as well. And those started doing well, and then I started even teaching like an Ableton tutorial, and people's response was really that you have a nice way of clearly teaching people, and you have a really good way of explaining things that we don't understand. And that's what I really honed in on.
You're really good at explaining every step by step. One of my favorite videos that you've created is your $350 studio video.
Yes.
Make sure you guys check that out. How do you decide what your next video is going to be or what content you're going to review?
It has to do a lot with the audience. So I get a lot of comments on my videos, and some people who mention their frustrations and what they'd like to learn. So I pick at those sometimes. And that $350 studio video actually came from a comment on my previous How to Build a Studio video. Because somebody left a comment, how am I going to build a studio if I'm broke AF? And I thought, I already recommended a bunch of budget gear, but it apparently wasn't enough. And then it made me think, people are watching me from other countries where they don't get this stuff as cheap as we do in the US. And maybe it's a lot harder for them to put together a music studio. So how cheap can I really, really get it? So I said, I need to include the computer, I need to include the studio monitors and the keyboard and the audio interface, and everything needs to be, I gave myself the budget of $350. Went on eBay, got the laptop, and thank God it worked on the first try. And it actually worked really well. I ended up recording a song using just those components because I really wanted to prove it to them. I don't want to just say, try these out and hopefully they work for you, I want to say I tried it. It worked for me. Here's the song I made, and you can totally do it too. And your budget just has to be $350. And the Mackie speakers really helped out there because they're totally entry level, but totally good enough for your bedroom and just to listen to your mix. And for people getting started, it's kind of gives them no excuse not to start making music.
Totally. So 100,000 subscribers. I know you have a video about it, but what is your process or routine that you can tell our listeners and viewers?
Yes, it wasn't easy. Especially for the first year and a half when I said things were just growing so slowly. And during these first 2 years, I kind of put on my channel, and I still have it up there, a new video every week. And I started that really early on. I think when I had 1,000 subscribers, I said, there's no way I'm going to keep being motivated to put these videos out, to keep making music, to keep learning and educating myself so I can teach other people, unless I make a big commitment to not just myself, but the people out there. So I kind of put that on my banner to make myself feel a little guilty if I don't actually deliver. So I said a new video every week. So I just started doing that. No matter what, I created a video and I put it out there. And so that meant, so I have a day job. So I have a 9-to-5 job. So,
Okay.
And an hour commute into the city. And so with that 9-to-5 job, that really just leaves my evenings and my weekends for this. And to create these videos actually takes a long time and to edit them. And I'm sure your crew knows you probably got editors behind this, and they know that editing anything takes a long time. And yeah, it usually takes up my whole weekend and almost every evening during the week to prepare for these videos, to create a new piece of music for every week that I can either demonstrate or teach people how to do. And yeah, and then Friday I usually start recording through Saturday and editing through Saturday, and I release a video on Sunday.
I liked. I was watching your routine, and you always seem to have something scheduled, which is really important as a musician. You talk a lot about balance, which seems almost impossible with the amount of subscribers you've obtained over this time. How do you find the balance for all this?
You know, this is something I mentioned in my video where I said how I made it to 100,000 subscribers. And one of the things I talked about was balance. And I didn't really call it balance. I said it's imbalance. If you want something that is really hard to achieve, and honestly, this is hard to achieve unless you have a viral video, and I didn't have a viral video. So doing this, and I so appreciate content creators now because I've learned how much work goes into what they do. And this could be even Instagrammers, right? And there's a lot of beat makers who make, short beat videos and put them on Instagram. All that takes so much time and energy and work. And I never knew, I used to watch them on Instagram before I had my YouTube channel, and I never knew that, it was so involved. And then I talked in that video about imbalance because doing this, taking time to do this every weekend and every evening means that I don't have time for a lot of other things. I have to really, really schedule time with my wife, my family, and my pets, and even playing with my dog. I consciously think about it. I'm like, all right, I need to play with her at least 3 times during the day. Let me throw the ball a little bit. And that's how it is. So it's not about, if you really want something and that something is kind of hard to achieve, I think you really have to tip the scale. That's kind of how I put it in that video. You're going to kind of lose balance somewhere. But that's not too bad if you have other healthy habits. So I try to exercise, try to do that stuff. Don't always keep up with it, but I try my best with it. And it helps with that
if it's
imbalance.
Your passion too.
Yeah, if it's your passion, if you love making music, then it's easier. It makes it easier. But I think delivering to an audience is different. And I think it's more than passion because you've got to have discipline too. You made the music. That was the passion part. But then you got to take that, you got to make it visually appealing and try to find an audience for it. And there's a whole other side of that business, that grind that none of your viewers get to see. They just get to see the end product, right? So they're like, wow, passion and inspiration went into this, but no, it's a lot of hard work too.
Speaking of visuals, what are your thoughts on the importance of visuals to support audio and vice versa? What do you think is the importance of combining those two forces together?
I think, before people used to just turn on the radio and they hear a great song. I mean, they still do it today, but there are just so many other ways for them to get music. And people are watching music videos on YouTube, and people are watching, short clips of music and dancing on TikTok, and people are posting beats on Instagram. And this means something. This means you can't just depend on throwing your song on Spotify and getting a ton of listeners if you're a brand new artist. You've got to show your face. You've got to have these visuals, and you've got to be comfortable with being on camera too. It's really interesting that I watch a lot of beatmakers videos on Instagram, and sometimes they just put these little graphics along with the beat that they've created. But the people who are really successful, and I watched this even when I just first started YouTube, are the people that show their face, because as humans, we connect with other people. And when we see the look on a person's face when they're enjoying their music, when they're making their beat, that's what we connect to. And that visual, I think, is really important these days, because I don't think you can be an artist without a face anymore. It used to be okay when all we were doing was we're listening to the radio. But ever since MTV, way back when MTV started, everybody needed to have a face. Everybody needed to have a personality. And that's what really helps along with this. And I think people shouldn't be afraid of putting that out there. I was super self-conscious when I started this. And I was like, can't believe I'm talking to this. And I look at my face when I'm editing my video. I'm like, oh, why did I make that face? Oh, why did I make that gesture? But
amen.
But yeah, you know it too, right? I mean, when you watch yourself, it's so different from what you actually think you look like. But it's okay. You've just got to put yourself out there anyway. People are so understanding of that. And if you really feel what you're putting out, if you're feeling the music and bobbing your head and making your beat, that's all people care about. They want to see you enjoying what you do. And honestly, I think that's why a lot of people comment to me too. They're like, you're always smiling when you're talking about this gear. I'm like, yeah, because I'm a gearhead. I love this stuff. I'm a geek for this.
This doesn't work for you.
Yeah, this is great. I want to talk to you about this new thing. They added a new feature. I could talk about it forever. And I'm happy when I do. And people connect to that.
Do you have advice for people? I mean, I'm listening to you. Do you have advice that you can offer for people who are getting started?
The first is just getting started now. Stop waiting, because that's the biggest thing with people is that they're, okay, let me get it perfect. Let me make sure I buy a really cool camera first, and then I'll put out a video, or then I'll post something on Instagram. Or let me get this beat perfect. Let me get my song completely finished, even though I've been working on it for a year. You don't need to strive for perfection. Put something out there, because your audience is going to build slowly. And you'll also be able to test that with your audience. If you don't give your audience something to react to, you're never going to know what they like and, what other thing they might prefer. So first thing is start now, stop waiting, just put something out there, and then keep improving and learning and putting more stuff out. And the next thing, you've got to ignore those haters. You're going to get comments from people. Not everybody's going to be supportive and positive, but you've got to just ignore that. You've just got to say, I'm really just doing this to show my art, to tell my story, to have my sound out there, and that's good enough. Now, I believe that there's an audience for everyone. And it doesn't have to be an audience of millions, but it could be an audience of a small group of people that appreciate what you do. And it's your job to find that audience and ignore the other people who aren't being supportive of that. You'll get better. Your right audience will find you, and you'll make that connection, and it's going to totally be worth it. And the third thing was the other thing I talked about earlier was about commitment, because I think that's really what helped me a lot. Was not just saying, all right, I'll do it, because I hear that a lot, even from people who comment on my channel. They're like, hey, I'm going to start a YouTube channel too. And I like, make a commitment to your audience, because if you just rely on you trying to be self-motivated, it's not that easy. So tell your audience you're going to post every Tuesday, and that makes it easier. It doesn't even add a stress. It just actually makes it easier.
So creators are starting, new channels every day. Do you think that YouTube is a crowded market, or is there room for everybody?
I thought that when I first started YouTube. I was like, look at these characters on YouTube. They're so good. They're so good at what they do. They have so much knowledge, and I'm just starting, and I'm trying to teach people something. And that I'm only learning now. And I was thinking, yeah, it's not going to be good. I'll have like a handful of people that like it, and I'll just deal with that. But I think the difference is everyone is different, and everyone can offer something new to the audience. There are some YouTubers that are super entertaining when they demonstrate anything. I mean, it's just loads of fun watching them from start to finish. And then there are those who know their stuff, and they're the expert in the fields, and those are the people I like to watch too, because I'm like, I have no idea how to use this plugin or mixer or hardware, and I need to find out how the experts are doing it. But of course, their jargon level is up here. So, and then there's the people. I think the person that I became is the guy who just explains things in very simple terms, and just tries to appeal to people who are just starting out, have no idea about this, and helping them elevate to the point where they feel really comfortable with it, and expanding that world into something new that they can continue to discover over a long period of time. And I guess there was some room for me. So yeah, to answer your question, I don't think it's ever too late. It's about you. You bring something unique to the social media world. So you've got to put that uniqueness out there. Just be yourself, and then you don't have to worry about anyone else because they're not you.
So I want to get back to the importance of video, and we talked a little bit about your video Undone and how you created such art on such a budget.
Sure. I'd love to do this while we're watching the video. Do you want to watch the video together, and I'll kind of explain the story about it?
I would love to do that.
Okay. All right. So there's the video. I'm playing that on YouTube. And it's interesting? I actually just recorded the whole thing on this camera right here. This is the only piece of gear that I actually took with us. This was recorded in Tokyo. We were there for my wife's birthday, and I said, all right, we were just there for 4 days. I'm like, okay, while we're there, can I shoot a music video? and my wife's like, okay, let's do it. And so I just had this one camera and the city of Tokyo as the background. And so we just said, okay, this one day, we're just gonna do it. We have a few locations we can go to, and let's just see what we can do. Both of us were thinking the whole time, people are gonna think we're so weird doing these, you're lip syncing in Shibuya, which is pretty much like Tokyo's Times Square. And what are they gonna think of me running up and down stairs and running across the street multiple times? Nobody cared. This goes back to my point, like, people are very forgiving. They're used to this stuff now. You can do all sorts of stuff and get away with it. But yeah, so I recorded this, we recorded this video just with one camera, and in this shot, my wife was holding the camera, shooting me, lip syncing to my song, and then I'm shooting her in a video game arcade. And this is one of those things, with visuals, you can really help tell the story of your music, which I love to do. If I had more time, I'd actually make like short films with my own soundtrack too, because I think music and visuals just go so well together. Yeah. And in this video, you'll hear that there are some really more mellow, pensive points in the song. Like the verses are much more, much more chill. And then in the chorus, it just goes into this energy. So you kind of see me in a much more chill mood, which is kind of my personality. And then when you cut to my wife in the chorus, it's just so much more energy, and the song picks up. Yeah. And I wanted the video to kind of follow that storyline of the differences, the juxtaposition between different personalities and how they experience the world, how they experience Tokyo differently. And my wife's personality is totally that way. It's like energy, 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 social, 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 all the time. And I'm like the opposite of that. And I think this video really shows that. But you'll see at the end kind of how it closes. But this video was super easy to make, and honestly, you could do this with an iPhone, and just a little bit of creative storytelling. It just gives your music another life, right? And this is perfect if you're trying to put something on YouTube or Instagram. Get creative with your music. We're artists, we're musicians and producers. We hear things, but we also have in our head, we see things that go along with our music. And it's so much fun to put it together. I've never made this before, and I've never been trained to make films or anything like that. Just kind of wing it by watching other videos I like and trying to mimic that. what was really fun about this is when we were in the subway station where you kind of see me singing and tapping my foot. In one of the last scenes, my wife and I are together in that scene, so we propped up the camera on a small little suitcase, a rolling suitcase, and we said, all right, let's just prop it up there and record it, and we do this last scene. But it was so shaky. While we're doing the last scene, we're just like, we're watching from the corner of our eye, the camera is falling, is falling, is falling. And it's just like falls to the ground. It was hilarious too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this is the scene right here. And I pretty much just had to cut the video where the camera just fell back. And at the end of this video, you kind of see us both together. We experienced the city in different ways, but we kind of ended up on the same subway platform. And, both of us just still thinking about the experience we just had, but together in a new experience. And that's my music video.
That is so awesome, Sanjay. It just goes to show that anybody's capable of doing it, and all you have to do is just go do it.
Yes. It's fearless. Fearlessness is what you need. Just go out there and do it. And you learn from it every single time. Do it once and your video will be like, okay, that's decent. The next time it's going to be better and even better and better and better. Just keep doing it and just be fearless.
So I would love to get into some fun questions. Do you think you're ready for that?
Sure.
Cool. All right. This is my favorite part. I love it. And I've actually created some questions for you specifically.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Okay. Okay. I'm ready.
All
I'm
right,
ready.
Sanjay,
Let's do it.
You're so talented, but what's the most useless talent you have?
What's my useless talent? Maybe it is... Oh, you know what it is? Okay. This is going to sound OCD, but it's really not. I know how to adjust curtains really well. So, and this is my pet peeve with my wife. It's like she opens and closes curtains, but she just doesn't know how to do it right. I know how to set them just right, and it's just perfect. And then, it just hides just the right amount of the windowsill, and everything just looks perfect when I adjust it. But only I know how to do it. So, but if anyone needs help with adjusting curtains, I know exactly how to do it. Let me know where you are. I'll come and help you out.
What's the strangest product you've ever unboxed or created a review for?
Strangest product I've ever unboxed. This is more sentimental than strange, but I do want to share this.
Okay. Yeah.
When I was growing up, I used to play with Transformers. I don't know if you know it. Do you remember Transformers?
Of course.
They're awesome, and I had a
cartoons.
huge collection of them. And I had them back when I was in India, but when I came to the US, we left a bunch of stuff there, and I don't have my childhood toys anymore. And I could never find them, and just I think it was like last year or the year before, my wife gave me one of the original ones from 1984, and I opened that, and it was just not the strangest, but most touching thing. It was just amazing. I should do an unboxing of that, because I'm sure my emotions would show and people would love to see it.
So, Sanjay, your singing voice is incredible.
Oh, thank you.
If you had a choice, which band would you be the front person of?
Oh, the band that I would be the front person. Okay. If I could, I was just telling you about how you just got to be fearless and just go out there and do it, right? If I could have the fearlessness of Freddie Mercury, I think my world would just erupt in just this explosion of amazingness. But yeah, I mean, if I could, I would, and I would give it my all if I could, if I was the lead singer of Queen. I know, because you have to live up to that expectation of Freddie Mercury's, right? So
yeah,
that's a challenge. I love those.
Too, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. So, Sanjay, what would be on the gag reel of your life, the moment where everyone bursts into laughter?
Everyone would burst into laughter if they saw all the stuff they don't see in my videos. Every time that I make a mistake, every time I say things the wrong way, I mean, it's just tons of footage of that stuff. But I think it's also really cute. My pets make their appearance in some of my videos. My dog is very cooperative, and she'll just sit there and, be very quiet and cooperative if I have her in my video. My cat, he doesn't care about that. Instead, he'll just walk behind, and he's usually with his butt to the camera. So that's what I find in my footage after I've done everything. I'm like, what is the cat doing there?
So speaking of cat, taco cat or purito?
Yeah, I don't know what either of those are, but if a cat had to be in there, I'd want the cat to be comfortable, and
Oh,
I think if it was wrapped, it would be a little bit more comfortable. And then, yeah, heat it up just a little bit and you make it nice and cozy. And then, are we eating him after that?
you spoil your pets, don't you? I can already tell. All right, Sanjay, if you were a Street Fighter, what would your theme song be?
If I was a Street Fighter, oh, I gotta have some Drake. I gotta have some Drake. Zero to
Drake?
100. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, that would be some, but that wouldn't be my song. Yes, I can get down to Drake for sure.
Who is your guilty pleasure band?
Oh, okay. They pretty much just have
all
one
have
song,
those.
but it's totally my guilty pleasure. It's Aha, that song "Take on Me." I can listen to it a billion times; it never gets old. And yeah, I just love it. It's just like that. It's just sonic perfection, I think. And yeah, as many times as I hear it, that's my guilty pleasure. I can never turn it off if it comes on.
Last but not least, who would play you in the movie of your life?
Dwayne the Rock Johnson, right?
Oh my
Because
gosh.
our physiques are similar, right?
Yeah.
And the bald head, of course.
Future projects. Do we have anything that you can share with us today?
Yes. Actually, I've been working on sample packs for my audience. That's one project that I have that I just started. So I just released a sample pack. It's more of a MIDI chord progression pack than a sample pack, because I want to teach people how to come up with really nice chord progressions. And some people don't have music theory, lessons. They've never learned that. So this kind of gives them a starting point of how to create their songs. So I'm going to do a few more of those, but as far as my own projects, I've got some songs coming up. I've been recording a new song, which I actually posted on Instagram a month and a half ago, and Universal Audio actually picked up on it, and they posted it on their Instagram as well. I created it with some of their software, and so I thought, I guess the song is good. Maybe I should finish it. So I'm finishing that song. I'm working on that right now, so I should have that up on Spotify hopefully in a couple months.
That's awesome. And to our viewers and listeners, he also has Undone on Spotify currently.
Yes,
so
I
make
do.
sure you log in and you jam out to that like I was this morning. And watch the video. Like you said, it really creates the story, and I could probably watch it without the music and still understand what you were trying to capture in that. It was just so well
Thanks.
done.
Thank you.
So again, are there any last words you'd like to close the show with?
Sure. Maybe I'll give you some inside info here. I always end all my videos with the phrase, keep making the music you love. And it means different things to different people. Sometimes I get these messages saying, thank you for saying that because it means this to me. I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. I never thought of it that way. And, but here's what it means to me. And I very rarely put this out there because I want people to interpret it themselves. What it means to me is to make music that you feel good about. And it doesn't matter if it fits in a genre or it doesn't fit in a genre. As long as you love it, as long as it's true to you, share that and make that and ignore the rest. If it's good to you, if you like what you create, that is good enough. You will sleep well at night.
Beautifully said. Again, guys, this is Sanjay C. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
I'm Jamie Hernandez. This is the Ins and Outs with Mackie, a show about awesome gear and awesome people. We'll be bringing you musicians, engineers, podcasters, streamers, and sometimes the occasional Mackoid. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for upcoming episodes.